When we can't see how something works, we fill in the blanks with faith, fear, or fantasy, and the confusion is the perfect breeding ground for misinformation and manipulation. Through the age of disclosure, a new documentary from Variety Headlines is lighting up conspiracy chats and mainstream news alike. It's called The Age of Disclosure, and it claims to expose an 80-year global cover-up of non-human life and secret government attempts to reverse engineer alien technology. Director Dan Ferris spent 3 years making the film in secrecy, interviewing 34 insiders from U.S. military and intelligence worlds. One of them, Jay Stratton, the former head of the Pentagon's UAP task force, says on camera, "I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings." The film hits theaters and Amazon Prime Video on November 21st. Here's the bigger point. People believe things like this because most of us don't actually understand the complex systems that already run our world, from artificial intelligence to cryptocurrency. When we can't see how something works, we fill in the blanks with faith, fear, or fantasy, and the confusion is the perfect breeding ground for misinformation and manipulation. Okay, what's the bottom line here? Here's yet another movie, another media property about this conspiracy to hide the fact that aliens have come to America because American officials don't want to scare the public. Newsflash, every single senator, president, cabinet member, member of the House would love to get attention from Americans by scaring them. That's why it's implausible to think there is a conspiracy. Let's dig a little deeper here. Now, please note, I have not seen the movie, and maybe it's really well documented. I am not so arrogant as to say I know with the fact that Earth is the only planet in the entire universe to have life or something close to what we think of as human life. I'm not saying that. I'm also not even saying that it's impossible for other life forms to have visited the United States and some other place on planet Earth. Here's what I am saying. The idea that there's been countless examples, as we've been told by these UFO conspiracy theorists, that there have been countless Martians and flying saucers and little green men and aliens and places out in Arizona and places like that, and that the military knows it, and that a lot of people, senators, presidents know it, but they don't want to tell Americans for fear of causing panic. That to me is the dumbest idea in the history of the world. If there's one thing we know about politicians, and I'm speaking across the political spectrum, I'm here as a sane, sensible centrist today, and it's just beyond debate that politicians crave attention. That's the currency in the modern era, especially by who in the White House. Anything they can do to get attention, they'll do. You're honestly telling me that all of a sudden the House votes to release the Epstein files, and Trump, if he knew about little green men and Martians, wouldn't change the subject by saying, "I have evidence today of being invaded by aliens from outer space"? Yeah, that would change the attention. He would obviously do that. But I'm not, in this segment, I'm not picking on Trump. You're not telling me Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries wouldn't love to bask in the limelight of a press conference where every TV camera in the world is pointing at them, where they're showing evidence of little green men and out of space, otherworld aliens. They would love that. So in order to believe this conspiracy theory that the government is hiding the fact that there are all sorts of aliens who've come to not just Earth, but the United States, you have to believe two things that are fundamentally contradictory. One, you have to believe three things, actually. One, you have to believe that all these government officials and military officials who have seen these aliens and evidence were supposed to reveal it to the public and didn't. So they essentially violated their oath of office. Two, you're assuming human beings can keep a secret. All evidence says they really can't. You really think Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky wouldn't have liked to keep a secret if secrets were possible to be kept? People can't keep secrets. Number three, the very same people you're assuming are so evil that they would keep all this hidden, you're now saying they're so noble that they're giving up all the attention they could have gotten. Think of how much money you could make if you were a former Air Force general or a former cabinet official, and you could write a book with pictures giving demonstrable proof of life from other planets. You'd get a $10 million book contract. So on the one hand, you're saying these people are so awful, conniving, not fulfilling their duties to America. On the other hand, you're saying they're so selfless, they're giving up $10 million book contracts. To me, that just does not add up. It's not credible. And let's also be clear about some terms. Unidentified flying objects means you can't identify it. If I throw a rock in your backyard and you don't know it's a rock, maybe you think it's a baseball, maybe you think it's a piece of coal, well then by definition, that's an unidentified flying object. Have people seen unidentified flying objects? Sure. Have weather balloons looked weird in certain lighting? Yes. Do various military planes from various governments sometimes take new shapes? Yes. Do human beings hallucinate and do drugs sometimes and imagine they've seen things? Yes, yes, yes. But none of that, I believe, would lead a rational human being to conclude, yes, there are little green people, and yes, there are foreigners who've come from other planets, and their government is hiding evidence of that because they don't want to scare us. That to me is completely non-credible. But the movie's coming out. I haven't seen it. I will remain open-minded. If I see enough news reports or enough of you tell me, TJ, you got to see this, it's really credible, I will take a look at it. But I want to see someone who's fact-checked. I want to see serious reviews before I waste my time on it. So we'll take a look. Again, personally possible that we are visited from another planet at some point, not ruling it out, but that does not in any way mean it's happened and it's being covered up.